Hi, my name is Amy Oberg, and I'd like to talk to you about Romans 12:1 and 2. So, what does it look like to be in a relationship with God? First of all, I think we would need to take a look at what does it look like to be in any friendship. When we care about our friends, we spend time with them, we talk to them, we care about how they feel, we know their voice, we understand their facial expressions, their phrasing, their tone, and we would know without a doubt that we trust them. We also know the dreams for their life. So, not all friendships turn out great because humans are definitely not perfect, which is what makes a relationship with a perfect and holy God so amazingly intriguing. The Apostle Paul spent some time writing a letter to the Romans, who were struggling to know how to walk with God and how to actually be in relationship with Him. Paul spent the beginning part of the letter explaining who was actually eligible for relationship with God. The Jews thought they were the only ones, and the Gentiles thought they were the Christians too. So eventually Paul says, well, there's none righteous, not even one, even the righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all those who believe, but there is no distinction. That's Romans 3:10. This means that not one person can claim to be better than the other. We can all be in relationship with Christ because God doesn't pick and choose. We all need Jesus. So then Paul gets to the how part of the letter. How can we be in relationship with Christ? And he says this: "And so, dear brothers and sisters, I plead with you to give your bodies to God because of all He has done for you. Let them be a living and holy sacrifice, the kind that He will find acceptable. This is truly the way to worship Him. Don't copy the behavior and customs of this world, but let God transform you into the new person by changing the way you think. Then you will learn to know God's will for you, which is good and pleasing and perfect." So Paul is asking me to present my what? My body? Yes, your body. Your body refers to the whole person in contact with the whole world. Not just your physical body, but present your life in service to Him, the very same way we would offer in our friendships. For example, let's just say your friend wants to go see a different movie than you want to go, but you go to their movie because you care for them. Or your friend gets a new car and you spend your whole day driving around all over the city showing their car to all of the friends you've ever had. You do this in support of your friend. Our Paul calls this a sacrifice. What would you sacrifice to give your best friend one of their dreams? Recently, a friend of mine spent $800 to take a friend to a concert and a festival to see her dream band and stand in line for hours to get a signature and a photo. That is a financial sacrifice, a time commitment, and honestly, a pure understanding of their friend's dreams. This is such a great example of the lengths we'll go to sacrifice for a friend. Paul is saying that our whole life can be offered as a sacrifice and be acceptable to God. This is where it gets tricky. Most people do not think their imperfect life could be worth God loving them. But Paul has already established that God loves all people. We can be in relationship or friendship with Him. And Romans 12:1 and 2 is how. How can we be in relationship? We can worship with our life. He says, don't look at the world. Be different. Renew your mind and spend time with God, getting to know Him, getting to know His voice, and worship with your life. That would be God's dream friendship for you. What is God's dream? God's dream is to be in a relationship with us. He would not have gone to such great lengths to send His Son to die in our place, sacrificing so much. So if we get to know God, we will understand what He did for us by sending Christ, and it will fulfill our deepest desires to live in service and in gratitude for what He's already done. This is the gospel. The dream would be to spend our life fulfilling each other's dreams for one another. Wouldn't that be nice? God's dream is to be in relationship with us, and ultimately a face-to-face meeting and the embrace that happens when we get to heaven. We can fulfill God's dream by living our life as an offering and a service, a sacrifice in worship to God. This is what is acceptable. This is what Paul is saying. So we can live on earth, offer our lives in an acceptable relationship with God, to live a life of worship and gratitude for what God has done for us.